From the News 4 newsroom, this is breaking news.
And welcome back, everybody. We continue to follow this breaking story coming out of Aurora, Colorado this morning. That is near Denver, east of Denver, a sprawling suburb. Aurora is east of Denver. At least 12 people are dead, 50 others are hurt after a shooting at a movie theater at midnight. Police say it happened at Century 16 movie theaters in Aurora. That's at the Aurora Town Center during a midnight showing of The Dark Knight Rises. There's a picture of it right now. Dina has been following the very latest for us. 38 people have been injured, excuse me, correcting that. She has been following the very latest developments, and she joins us now with more.
Well, the suspect is now being named as 24-year-old James Holmes of Aurora, Colorado, and he is in police custody this morning. Police believe he was a lone gunman and only he was responsible for the shooting rampage. But according to witnesses, the gunman kicked down the door before the movie, or during the movie rather, and then threw metal gas canisters into the theater and then began opening fire. Now, witnesses say there were between 20 and 30 shots fired in this incident.
Now, according to police, 3 guns were found, 2 on the suspect, a shotgun and a rifle, and another gun was found stashed in the movie theater, also a knife. The gunman was wearing all black clothing with a gas mask over his face. He was also wearing a bulletproof vest, so this guy definitely came to this movie theater ready for some sort of a battle.
And we are going to show you now some cell phone video that was reportedly taken in the aftermath at the movie theater. This reveals horrified witnesses as they watched people flee the theater, apparent victims carried away from the scene. We do know that 10 people died at the theater, 2 more at the hospital. The ages of the 38 injured span from about a 3-month-old baby who is believed to be okay this morning, all the way up to middle-aged adults. And local hospitals are also working on decontaminating the victims because of tear gas injuries and also some injuries from shrapnel from the shooting. Now, 2 eyewitnesses were inside the Aurora movie theater when the gunman opened fire and are speaking out about the shooting.
Even when he threw the first tear bomb, nobody really reacted until they exploded. And then everyone dropped to the ground and couldn't breathe, couldn't see, and everyone's noses.
And police are searching also an apartment complex believed to be the home of the suspect who opened fire inside of that Colorado movie theater. Again, at least a dozen people have been killed because of this incident. 38 more are injured.
All righty, this is what we have coming up from the White House right now. This is a statement by President Barack Obama. He had this to say about the shooting in Colorado this morning. Quote, "Michelle and I are shocked and saddened by the horrific and tragic shooting in Colorado. Federal and local law enforcement are still responding, and my administration will do everything that we can to support the people of Aurora in this extraordinarily difficult time. We are committed to bringing whoever was responsible to justice, ensuring the safety of our people, and caring for those who have been wounded. As we do when confronted by moments of darkness and challenge, we must now come together as one American family." Again, a quote this morning after hearing the tragedy from President Obama.
And again, police do believe that this was a lone suspect, a lone shooter. He is in police custody. Apparently, according to the witness accounts, he walked into that theater completely silent. And so hopefully now he is opening up about maybe a motive. That's obviously on the minds of many of the people in this area, wondering why he did this, what really persuaded him to walk into that theater at midnight and do what he did, according to police at least, the 12 people who were killed.
And according to the reports that we have been listening to, this gunman was found in his car, sitting in his car shortly after the massacre, and they sent a robot to his car because he had told police over the phone when they called, I guess, his cell phone or found word of who this person may be. And we had the very latest from KUSA as they continue to search the suspect's home.
This morning rather, when they came out here. I want to tell you a story, though, that I ran into this lady who was supposed to go to that showing, but by a fate of whether you call it bad luck, good luck, she said bad luck at first, where her friend's credit card got denied, and then all of a sudden they decided to go and find another friend who brought in another credit card. Because of that, they weren't able to get into Theater 9 where the shooting happened, but they were able to get into the 12:10 showing, which was in Theater 8 next door. While they were watching the movie, all of a sudden, a police officer came in, she said, with a gun, saying, "Everybody get out, everybody get out." She thought it was part of the movie, as did many other people, thinking it was part of a gimmick or some sort. And as they left, they started to realize quickly what was going on here. And she realized that when she saw a woman who had gunshot wounds, bleeding, and she remembers just looking into that woman's eyes, the gaze that she gave, and she just says that she would never forget that look that the lady gave her. And because of that, she felt lucky. She felt lucky that she didn't end up getting into that theater where the gunman opened up fire, spraying bullets. I talked to another man who said that he heard between 50 to 60 shots within a 15-minute period. At that point, dozens and then hundreds of people started running out of the movie theater. At this hour, this morning, behind me in the parking lot at the movie theater, all the vehicles are still there. Police have it roped off. What was eerie up until about 30 minutes ago is that you could still hear the security siren inside the movie theater. It was going off since around 12:45 this morning and continued on until about a half hour ago. The FBI, as well as other investigators, are out there going through that parking lot, trying to figure out, when they're going to be able to reopen that, when people are going to be able to get their vehicles. A tragic morning here in Aurora, and a lot of folks are waking up around the country wondering exactly why a person would do this.
It's an NBC reporter from KUSA with the very latest on what had happened. Had some reaction from some of the folks who were there in that movie theater during the rampage. We are also going to take you right now to a briefing outside a hospital where several of the injured people were taken.
We've had 4 total patients discharged. We don't anticipate any further patients from this incident, but we're always prepared. As a Level 2 trauma center, we have an internal disaster program that we activated shortly after 1 a.m. and we were able to mobilize trauma surgeons and emergency physicians and staff from the rest of the hospital to attend to our most critically ill patients. And again, I'm happy to say that we've had no fatalities so far. So if I could answer any questions you may have. Most of the injuries were, again, gunshot wounds. They varied from wounds to the chest and abdomen and trunk to also extremity wounds as well. And they appear to be of certainly high caliber.
How are the medical staff holding up? We talked earlier about how nobody's ever seen anything like this.
Oh, I don't know how you could be prepared for such a thing, but I think the staff did an excellent job. They mobilized, they did what they had to do and what they've been trained to do. And I think at this point they're starting to settle down a little bit. There's an internal program we have here and support staff to kind of go through a debriefing as well and to kind of support not only the patients and the families that we've seen, but also the staff that had to take care of them.
We had heard that there was a 3-month-old
At this point, I don't have any information on anybody who's that young that was seen at this facility.
Are there any kids here?
There were teenagers here, but we don't have anybody younger than that.
What is this like for your staff? I imagine they see everything, but when something like this happens, I'm sure just for these people, responders, what is this like for them?
Well, we've served this community as a Level 2 trauma center for many years, and I think we're always prepared. This is certainly something outside the scope of what we routinely see, but again, I think they all banded together and did a very, very good job.
You were here last night. Can you describe a little bit about what the scene was like as these patients started coming in?
I think there's a lot of uncertainty at the initial stages. And so there was a lot of chaos at the beginning, but everybody settled down and we actually took the patients rather rapidly, assessed them, assessed their needs, and many of which were treated immediately and then taken to surgery.
Are there still people?
Okay, you've been listening to a briefing outside one of the hospitals, of course, Denver area, Aurora area hospitals, just basically filled to the gills with some of these 38 people who were wounded this morning. Initial reports were 50 people, but again, they say that at that particular hospital, none of the patients that were brought in there have died. So that is some good news, and the hospital workers have certainly done a very commendable job responding to this tragedy.
Absolutely. You can imagine, as was mentioned, you can never really prepare for something like that. I know during the Reno Air Races tragedy last year, I was staged up at one of the hospitals, and as those victims were coming in, staff is always going to be on scene, but it's never something that they can quite wrap their head around initially.
And they're not talking about broken ankles and broken arms, very severe injuries.
Absolutely.
Here too.
We do want to, provide you with some more information on the alleged suspect. This is 24-year-old James Holmes, who is believed to be the shooter involved in the overnight shooting in Aurora. He is in police custody. We had mentioned earlier that he is believed to have been found inside of his vehicle outside of the theater when police were able to take him into custody. They believe he is the lone shooter involved in this incident, and according to witnesses, he again just kicked down the door to the movie theater, threw some metal gas canisters, and then allegedly opened fire. Latest numbers we have, though, this morning, 12 people were killed, at least 38 injured, and we will continue to follow up on this throughout the morning, provide you with more information about the suspect. Kelly O'Donnell with NBC News was reporting earlier that the only contact this person ever made with police, James Holmes, was a traffic ticket about a year ago, and so it looks like he didn't have a criminal background. But again, I'm sure as details unfold, we will continue to learn much more about the suspect and the injuries as well.
So many questions, so many questions. Alrighty, thank you, Dina. We appreciate it.